Good afternoon. I, RAJARSHI Bandyopadhyay from Tripura, welcome all of you to the world of pulses. Pulses are dry edible seeds of the Leguminosae family. They are a topic of current interest, not just because of the concern of high price rise and India's efforts towards self-sustainability, but also in the context of malnutrition, as pulses are an important source of various nutrients. In this bar diagram, we can see that among some important species of pulses containing carbohydrate, protein, fat, fiber, and minerals, protein is highest in lentil, carbohydrate and fat highest in chickpea. Pulses also help in certain diseases such as diabetes, cancer, cardiac problems, etc. In fact, pulses contribute to 6 aspects of human life. P for proteins, U for use, that is diverse use, L for living, that is healthy living, S for sustainable, E for environment, and the last S for security. Now, a sustainable food is that one which meets basic human needs without harming the natural environment and continues this process for a long time. Pulses are sustainable food. It takes only 43 gallons of water to produce 1 pound pulses as compared to 216 for soybeans, 368 for peanuts, and 1875 for wheat. Per kg pulse production is 0.19 CO2, which is much less as compared to 4.8 for eggs, 6.9 for chicken, and 27 for beef. Pulses are also energy efficient crops, and 896 joule can produce 1 hectare pulses, which is much less as compared to 14,235 for wheat and others. Most surprisingly, pulses have nitrifying bacteria in the root nodules, which convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble nitrates, which enrich the soil with nutrients. If pulses are grown in rotation with paddy, the nitrogen fixation quantity of the soil increases from 195 to 271 kg per hectare. Now the question arises, how do pulses contribute to sustainable food security? According to FAO, food security exists when all people at all times have safe and nutritious accessibility to safe and nutritious food which meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. Pulses are suitable for marginal environment. Drought-resistant and deep-rooted varieties of pulses can supply groundwater to companion crops, and the people in arid regions can enhance their crop production by using pulses. Here are 4 important drought-resistant species of chickpea. Pulses are affordable sources of protein for marginal families. In a report published by National Sample Survey in its 68th round, it is seen that in the period of 2011 to 12, the cost of 1 kg protein for both rural and urban prices in rupees was lowest for lentils, that is rupees 208 and 223 respectively. To sustain food security around the world, the 68th UN General Assembly has declared the year 2016 as International Year of Pulses. Here is a bar diagram. You can see that in India, area is more but production is less. That is just opposite to other developing countries like Canada, France, Brazil, USA, and Australia. In fact, pulses represent an ironical feature of India. India, being the largest producer of pulses, is also the largest importer of the same. According to an industrial report, it has been found out that we, the Indians, consume 63,500 tons of all kinds of pulses each year, which accounts to 2.3 crore tons a year. However, according to one government report, it has been found out that in the period of 2015 to 16, the total production of all kinds of pulses turned out to be 1.7 crore ton. This is far short of the initial government target of 2.05 crore ton. This deficit is made up by importing. Here in this bar diagram, you can see that over the past 8 years, production has almost been stagnant from 14.5 to 17 million tons, but import has doubled from 2.5 to 5.7 million tons. High rise in import is due to inadequate production of pulses as compared to the huge demand. Further, productivity in our country is also low. The government of India has started the second phase of green devolution in action in order to increase pulse and oilseeds production in the eastern region of the country. In a review meeting held at the PM's office, the government ordered the ICAR to produce HYBCs within 2 years and also has implemented a budget of rupees 300 crore for 6,000 villages. Various programs implemented by the government: Prime Minister Kushan Chai Yojana, National Food Security Mission, which includes Accelerated Pulse Production Program, Macro Management of Agriculture, All India Coordinated Research Project, which includes research on HYBCs, extension to farmers, and FLG or frontline demonstration. However, in increasing pulse production and providing aid to the poor people, the government as well as the common citizens face certain challenges, but there are certain possibilities to eradicate them. Emphasis to develop during the revolution of the 1960s, which neglected pulses. So now our prospects might be to take adequate measures to balance the deficit. Market policy of the government, like MSP policy, is biased towards cereals, so the policy should be equally framed for both pulses and cereals. There has been an inadequate storage facility of pulses in our country, so we need to build more and more warehouses and godowns of scientific content. Farmers are deep invested and poorly skilled, and as a result, we need to increase awareness among them, provide training and faculty or frontline administration. There has been an inadequate development of seeds with non-shattering pests, resistant characters, etc. So more development of improved variety of pulses is needed. Unpredictable climate is in India, so to develop technologies to combat such conditions. There has been a lack of mechanized farming and protection in our country, so the prospects might be to develop modern techniques of agriculture, transport, and production. If we are able to increase our pulse production to a certain extent, then we can provide pulses to the poor people and eradicate food insecurity forever through PDS or public distribution system or rationing system. I conclude by saying that if we adopt this prospect with the help of government of India and common citizens, then the day is not far when our country, India, will be a self-sustainable country in the course of pulses. Thanks to all.
Thank you very much. You have given a lot of information about the production scenario and the deficit and the import. And you have suggested some of the challenges and prospects. Now, may I ask you one very critical question? That is, you suggested that more development of improved varieties of pulse seeds. What do you mean by improved development?
So according to rules, I have to go back to the Green Revolution. So actually what happened in the 1960s, that more focus was on rice and wheat. So there was less development of HIV seeds, that is high yielding varieties of seeds of pulses. So by improved development, I mean that such characteristics like non-shattering, that the pod breaks and the seeds fall on the ground, then pest-resistant characters as we mentioned earlier, and also one more thing is that they should have low photo period. Such improved varieties are needed for high yield in our country, because in our country there is very low productivity. So I mean those things by improved varieties.
All right.
You have mentioned about marketing currency. Can you elaborate on that? What kind of marketing currency is needed?
So I mentioned about market policy and also MSP policy. So MSP policy is minimum support price policy. It is the price that it has been announced by before the sowing period, that how much price the farmers will sell into the market. So it has been low for pulses in the last period of about 10 or 15 years. So what happens that when the farmer sees that yes, I have low, why should I sell, why should I cultivate pulses? So this makes the farmers, this two challenges are interlinked, this and this. These interests of farmers. They have these interests because they see that yes, I will sell at a low price, then why should I sell this? I should cultivate rice. So sir, I should mention that the policy should be equally framed for both pulses and cereals, and should not be biased towards cereals, like the MSC policy is now.
You mentioned about the inadequate storage facility. Is it just the space for storage, or the pulses have some inborn problems of storage or shelf life?
Yes ma'am, there is one problem. I mentioned that inadequate storage facility, and the prospect should be to build more warehouses and godowns with scientific content. What happens is that pulses are protein-rich food, and they are more likely attacked by pests and diseases. So what happens is that in our country, the most big problem is that there are lack of warehouses and godowns of scientific content. Scientific content means that a proper storage facility, then the stacks should be altered in the same way as there have been guidelines. So what happens is that when we cultivate pulses in the fields, then they are first stored in the villages. And in villages, we know that the storage facility is not that much good and of scientific content. So after they are transported to the major cities and industrial production areas, until that storage facility is not that much good in the villages, and so they get destroyed. About 40% of the pulses get destroyed.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh from Tripura.